You didn't tell him that Bobo, the lady police officer, you didn't tell him that Bobo shot you?
Objection, Wiki.
Sustained.
So you don't remember what you told the police officer that day?
No.
Did you get to take a ride in a helicopter that day?
Yes.
No. Did the helicopter take you to the hospital?
Yes.
Do you remember at the hospital, did you have to have surgery?
Yes.
Did that leave a scar?
Yes.
Got some scars from what happened that day? You think you'd be okay if the judge let you, that you could show show your scar? Yeah, I know you don't want to, I know you're embarrassed about it, but the court's permission to make Jeremiah stand up to show his injury.
Okay, will you be comfortable with that? No, I wouldn't either, but we're going to ask you to please do that.
They weren't there that day, so they didn't get to see.
So if you please just stand up, just lift up your shirt and show the scar and then sit back down. Can I ask the TV camera not to film that? Okay. Thank you. No camera, nobody else is going to see except for those people sitting over there in the box.
So stand up for me, like you showed me this morning. Come on, Jeremiah.
Your Honor, may we approach? Objection.
Jeremiah, I know that you're embarrassed. You have to show your scar, but we're going to ask one more time if you'll stand up and just show us and point out the things that you pointed out before what happened, okay? Can you do that for me? I'm sorry?
No. And no.
No, okay. We're going to take a picture of it then, okay? We'll do that in a little bit, in a few minutes, if that's okay. done, Jeremiah. Just a couple more questions, okay? And then we're going to take that picture. Jeremiah, this morning, when you and I met, do you remember coming into my office this morning?
Yes.
Yes. Do you remember me showing you a video on the computer?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember that video was of the lady police officer coming to talk to you?
Yes.
And you remember when she came to talk to you, she asked you who shot you?
Yes.
And you remember that you told her Bobo? And that video that you watched this morning?
Objection, leading, and ask and answer.
Overruled.
I'm sorry? Yes?
You have to speak up, Jeremiah. Can't hear you.
This morning in your office, in my office, excuse me, when you saw that video, that you watched it, do you remember seeing that video and telling the investigator that Bobo, or the police officer that Bobo shot you? I can't hear you, Jeremiah. You're going to have to, can you just look at me for just a few more minutes, okay? Remember telling that to the investigator this morning?
No.
On that video, remember seeing that you told the investigator that Bobo shot you?
I see the video, but I forgot.
Okay, I think you said something about the video, but I didn't understand you or hear you. Can you speak up?
I seen the video, but I forgot.
You saw the video, but
I forgot.
you forgot.
But that was you on the video. You just forgot what you said?
Mm-hmm.
And other than that other issue, I don't believe I will have any other questions.
Okay, thank you, Cross.
Yes, Judge. Good morning, Jeremiah.
Come on.
Now, you remember you spoke to me back in April of this year. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And we discussed the events of September the 4th of last year. Do you remember that as well?
Yes.
And on September the 4th, coming back from the store, was it light or dark outside?
It was almost getting dark.
Okay. And at the store, you picked up a soda, right?
Yes.
And did you walk around the store a little bit before you selected your soda?
No.
You knew exactly what you wanted?
Yes.
Okay. What did you get?
Root beer?
Root beer? Did you pick up any snacks with the root beer?
No.
Okay. The line in the store, was it long or short?
Nobody was there.
So you were in pretty quick, in and out of the store?
Yes.
On your way back home, did you see people on the corner?
Yes.
Was it a lot of people?
No.
Okay. And about how many people did you see on the corner? Let me ask you this. What was that?
Probably like 5 or 4.
5 or 4, is that your answer? And were they male or female?
Male?
Male. Were they all male?
Yes.
Were they all African American? Meaning black? Were they all black?
Yes.
And did you see anyone on the corner with gold facial hair?
No.
At any point when you saw fighting, did you get off your bicycle?
No.
Did you stop your bicycle to watch? Did you walk really close to the fighting?
No.
Your Honor, could I have a moment to confer with counsel?
Yes.
Your Honor, no further questions for Mr. Taylor.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any other questions?
We do have, Judge, and we're prepared for that other issue at this time as well. Jeremiah, you, is Bobo a friend of your father's?
No.
Your Honor, objection beyond the scope of cross.
The same.
Yeah, I'll ask you a question.
Judge, other than that other issue, which we're ready.
And can you approach about that for just one moment? For now, but they're going to call you back, okay? You're going to go down and they're going to take a picture in the back room there. See you in a little bit. Okay, if the state will please call your next witness.
Ashley Jones.
Just stand at the podium and raise your right hand to be sworn, please.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes.
Come on this way.
Proceed.
Morning, ma'am. Would you please tell us your name, spell us your first and last name?
Ashley Jones, ASHLEY JONES,
And in what city and state do you reside?
Sanford, Florida.
Okay. And I want to direct your attention, Ms. Jones, back to September the 4th of last year and ask if you had occasion to be visiting somebody in the vicinity of 13th Place and Oleander Avenue in Sanford, Seminole County, Florida.
Yes.
And where within this home were you seated or standing?
I was on the outside right in front of the vehicles that was parked in front of the...
Okay. And was this around 7:30 or so in the evening?
Yes, it was.
Sorry.
I was out there all day, but yeah.
Starting to get dark.
Mm-hmm.
And did there come a point in time that you realized some individuals were playing basketball?
Yeah.
Okay. And were you familiar with? Were your family members playing basketball?
Yeah, they were playing basketball at the opposite end of the street. I mean, opposite end of the road.
And then at some point that game ended?
Yes.
And did you know the individual they were playing basketball with by name?
No.
Did you know him by sight?
Yeah.
May I approach the witness, please?
May?
Show you, first of all, what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit D. Do you recognize the individual photographed?
Yes.
In States D? Is that the individual that was playing
That was
basketball?
Yes, he was playing basketball with my family.
Okay. And then I want to show you States A for identification. It's an aerial photograph. And do you recognize the neighborhood as being this intersection of Oleander and 13th Place?
Yes.
And is the residence in front of which you were when you were making your observations pictured on this aerial photograph?
Yes.
And is it shown with the
Right there.
a white arrow
Yes.
at the point of the white arrow? Okay. Does that fairly and accurately reflect where you were
Yes.
on that early evening hours? Okay. Now, after the game was over, did you see that individual who was pictured in State's Exhibit D become involved in some sort of a confrontation with another individual?
Yes, I thought they were horse playing
Okay.
at first.
Did that kind of catch your attention?
Yeah.
Okay. And could you hear what they were saying to each other?
No, I could not.
Was there some sort, when you say horseplay, what did moves or happen between those two individuals?
I don't know. I just seen them tussling, and I turned back.
Okay. Was any of your family members with you
Yes.
around that area?
Yes.
Okay. Were your children around?
My kids were. They were outside.
And when you turned away for a moment and you turned back, what did you see the individual who was horse playing with or confrontation or whatever you saw happen between person in State's Exhibit D and the other individual?
I seen him. He was still at the corner, and
Being the man in State's D?
Yes.
You didn't know his name,
I
right?
don't know.
Okay. And the other individual, what did you see the person in State's D do?
He was standing at the corner like he was, shall I say, still ready to fight or wrestle, whatever.
And that was out at the corner of 13th Place in Oleander?
Yes.
And what did you see the other individual with whom he had the confrontation with?
He took off running towards a house
Okay.
and then proceeded closer to the road to start shooting.
Pardon me?
He came closer to the road and started shooting.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you a couple more photos with the court's permission, State C and also State 2. It's already in evidence. In State C, do you recognize what's depicted in that photograph?
Yes. That's
And-
the house at the corner
Okay.
of the street.
And is that the house toward which you saw this second person go toward
Yes.
and then come back?
Yes.
And you see that this basketball hoop picture there, that's not the hoop that
They were not playing
that they were
basketball there.
early, that this person in States D was playing with your other family members earlier, correct?
No, they were at the other corner playing
Okay.
basketball.
Now, this second person who'd gone toward the house, did you see him, where did he go?
He went this way,
Okay.
towards the car,
Okay.
and then
Which car did he go toward?
between the green and the I don't remember which car it was, but
Okay.
I just know he went towards the car and came back
Okay.
out towards the road, either the green or the white car.
Okay. And did you actually see him go into any car?
I did not actually see him going.
Were you looking the other way?
I was
just before you saw him with a gun?
I think I actually turned around and sneezed and turned back around.
Okay.
I didn't see him get a...
Now, is State's Exhibit number 2, is that kind of a closer view of
The car.
this area, including the green car?
Yes.
That's right here, okay. And do both of these photographs fairly and accurately reflect the way things appeared that night, later on after this event, after it was dark? Okay. I would move State's Exhibit C into evidence as State's next.
Any objections?
You want everybody to see it?
Yes, you may.
No objection, Judge.
B will come into evidence as State's Exhibit 4. Yes, we've got to pull out the, it's on the right side.
Computer more? Just show the photograph. Do we have a pointer in the courtroom here?
Ms. Jones, this is a pointer.
There's a little red button on the side here. You just press that button. Now, State's Exhibit number 4 is up on the screen, Ms. Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And can you show us where, now the second individual that had the argument or the horseplay with the person in State's D, you said you saw him go toward this house?
Yes.
And it was somewhere in the vicinity of either the green car, can you point out where the green car is? And a white car, you indicated. Okay. And what did you see that individual do after he came from that area?
He came back out to the corner right here and proceeded shooting.
Started to shoot?
Yes.
So he was this side of the green car when that was occurring? Like near that?
Kind of towards the
basketball hoop?
back side of it.
Pardon me?
The back side of it.
Okay. Was it fairly near that basketball hoop, somewhere in that area?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you recall exactly how many shots were fired
No.
by this other individual?
No.
Was there more than one?
Yes.
Okay. And could you see where he was aiming toward?
Yeah, towards the street corner.
Okay. And who was at the street corner?
There was a couple people at the street corner.
Okay. Was the individual that he had an argument with out
Yes.
there at the street corner? And once the second individual with the gun started advancing on that person, the man in States D, what did the man in States D do?
He ran from this side, trying to go back that way.
So he was trying to run away?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you, up near where the man in States D was, did you see a little boy on a bicycle?
Yes, I did.
Was he right near the individual who was running away? The man pictured in States D?
The man was running towards him.
Okay.
The little boy was riding his bicycle. He had really no idea.
Okay. And did you see either of anyone up at the corner appear to be struck by this gun's bullets?
Yeah,
Okay.
the little boy.
The little boy was?
That was the first one I
What
seen.
did you see happen with respect to the little boy?
I seen him fall off the bicycle.
Okay.
I didn't see him actually get struck. I seen him fall off the bike.
Right. And did you see, did you see any other bullets appear to strike an individual?
I seen the one that struck the man in the buttocks, and that's when I was turning around to go proceed to grab my kids off of their bikes and put them in the house.
Okay, so at that point, after you saw two people appear to be shot, you wanted to get your children...
I thought my kids were in the house already, so yeah.
Okay. Did you see what, if anything, the gunman did with his gun?
No, I did not.
Did you see that gunman running away from the scene?
Yes.
Now, this gunman, did you know him personally?
No, I don't.
Had you seen him in the neighborhood?
Come walking down the street, yeah.
So you'd seen him a number of times in the neighborhood?
Yeah.
So you recognized him. And did the police come fairly quickly?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what y'all time limit is.
Did you try to assist the little boy? Did you go out that way?
Yes.
Okay. Were there other people that came
Yes.
out and tried to assist the little boy as well?
Yeah.
Was there one or more people that were assisting the individual who was shot in the buttocks, the
Yes.
man in States D?
Mhm.
And did the medical people come?
Yes, they did.
Do you remember a helicopter landing nearby?
No, I did not.
You got back in the house?
Yeah, to check on my kids.
Now, did you speak with the police? Were the police asking if anyone had seen anything that night?
Well, I went back towards the house, and because my child was screaming because she was scared, and he came and asked me, was there anything wrong with her? And
Anything left?
wrong with her, like,
Oh,
but I was like, no, she's scared. And he asked me what happened, and I told him.
and did you tell the police that you recognized the individual but didn't know his name?
No, I told him I don't know him.
Right. But you did tell the police you saw who did the shooting?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Now, a little bit later on that day, did the police come to you with a photo lineup
Yes.
of individuals in it? And may I approach the witness?
Yes, you may.
Show you State's Exhibit E. Do you recognize that, Ms. Jones?
Yes.
And when the police showed you this lineup, did they ask if you recognized the shooter
Yes.
in that lineup that you had observed shooting that night?
Yes.
Struck the little boy and the other man in States D. And did they ask that it was important to be certain of your identification?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're blocking the view. You're blocking the jury's view.
I'm sorry. And what did the police ask you to do, or the officer ask you to do, if you recognize the shooter in that photographic lineup?
To circle an initial.
Okay, and did you do that?
Yes.
Okay, and that was that very day?
Yes.
Okay. And that you did that in this case?
Yes.
Okay. I would move State's Exhibit E into evidence as State's next.
Any objections? No objection, Judge. E will come in as State's Exhibit number 5.
Request that State's E be published.
Do so.
Now, was the individual who did the shooting in States 5, was he wearing glasses that day?
No.
Do you see the individual in court that is pictured in State's Exhibit number 5 in photograph number 5, who you identified for the police. Do you see him here in court today?
I'm assuming.
If you need to stand up, you can.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
Would
sorry.
you point him out? Tell us where he's seated.
He's right there.
Okay. What color clothing is he wearing today?
Blue. Is that blue?
Okay. Is he seated out in the audience or
No,
at this
he's
front
right there
table?
at the stand.
Pardon me?
He's right there. No. He's,
Okay. In the gray shirt
yes.
with the tie?
Yes.
Record will reflect she's identified Mr. Butts. I would also move into evidence at this time State's Exhibit A, the aerial photograph.
Any objections?
State's Exhibit D,
No objections?
I'm sorry, Judge, no objection. Thank you.
Thank you very much. State's Exhibit A will come into evidence as State's Exhibit 6. D will come in as State's Exhibit 7.
request that those be published.
You may do so.
Also request to publish State's Exhibit number 2, the green car, as previously referenced and received but not published.
You may do so.
The record publishing State's Exhibit number 2. Now publishing State's 7.
You just touched something that made it dark.
Yeah.
Did? Was that you? Previously State's D, that was. And publishing State's 6. Do you still have the pointer, Ms. Jones?
I do.
Can you point out the residence in front of which you were when you made the observations? And the house or the building that you saw Mr. Butts running toward? And where were those cars? Were they right out in front of that building?
Yes.
Okay. And then the intersection we speak of was where? Can you tell us the direction that Mr. Butts ran after the shots were fired and the 2 victims fell to the ground?
That way.
Okay. He ran where?
Away
Okay.
from this way. From the right here to this way.
Ran off to the upper part of that photo?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing further at this time.
Thank you,
The
sir.
defense may have a few questions.
Good morning, Ms. Jones.
Hello.
On September the 4th, the night of this incident, you had an opportunity to write a statement to law enforcement.
I did.
Okay. And they told you to be truthful.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. And they told you to be accurate
Yes.
and fill it out completely.
Yes.
And you wrote a description of the person that was doing the shooting that night.
Yes.
And you described that person as about between 5'10" and 6 foot.
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember that. I don't really know how to do heights.
Okay. If I were to show you a copy of your statement that you wrote to law enforcement, would that refresh your recollection?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach the witness? Stand.
Is that marked, Ms. Parker?
For identification.
Yeah, you need to mark it for identification.
Ms. Jones, I'm showing you what has been pre-marked as Defendant's Exhibit A for identification purposes only. Please read it and look up when you're finished.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the statement that you wrote to law enforcement that
Yes,
night?
it is.
Okay. And does it fairly and accurately represent your statement to law enforcement?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So asking the question again, you identified the person that did the shooting as the height between 5'10" and 6 foot,
I did.
and described him as having gold facial hair.
Gold teeth. You said gold facial hair.
Do you need to read your statement again?
Yeah. if
Would
you
it
said
refresh your
gold
recollection to read the statement again?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, permission to approach the witness.
Okay.
It's line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Line 9 and 10 I'm referring to.
Oh,
You read that?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Just read it and you don't have to say it.
Oh, okay.
Ms. Jones, you described the person that did the shooting as having a short haircut with gold facial hair?
Yeah.
Okay. You were outside all day that evening, correct?
I was.
Did you have your cell phone with you?
I did.
Were you texting at all?
I might have.
Okay, and possibly took a few phone calls?
Yes.
And you were at your mother's house? That's who you were visiting? Did you ever go inside of the residence?
Yes.
And about the time this incident occurred, around 7:30 p.m., is that correct?
Yes.
And you had your children with you outside?
I did.
And how many children do you have?
I have two.
And both of your children were on bicycles that day?
No, one of them was, and the other one was waiting her turn.
Okay, so you were watching your children that evening as they were on their bicycles?
Yes.
Also, you observed two individuals in an altercation, you said?
At first, I thought they were horse playing around.
Okay, and since you thought they were horse playing, did you pay much attention to what they were doing?
No, I turned after I seen what I thought was horse playing.
Did you ever walk up closer to get a better look?
No, I did not at that time.
And you were about 20 feet away from them?
Yes.
And the lighting at that time, was it light or dark?
It was light enough.
Meaning?
I couldn't see.
So give me an estimate of the time then. Is it almost dusk? It's getting dark?
Not yet. It wasn't getting dark, but it was still light outside, but it was getting dark. Let me say it like that.
Okay. And the two individuals that you thought were horse playing, were there other people around them?
Yes, it was.
Were they gathered around just kind of watching?
No, they were at the other corner.
Okay, so two were on one corner and the other people were on another corner.
Yes.
Were there additional people on the corner with the two that were horse playing?
They looked like they were all walking from that area, so.
Is that a yes?
No.
Okay, so the two that were just trying to clarify.
I know.
The two that were on the corner horse playing, were there people close to their vicinity watching?
No.
Okay. And the identification that you made, that was around 9:30 p.m.
That night.
Okay, so 2 hours after the incident.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have an opportunity, well, you had an opportunity to speak with your family because you were out there with them?
Technically, I didn't. My family left once they started hearing the gunshots, and the police were still talking to me.
Okay. After you heard the shots, you grabbed your children, or you went to look for your children, correct?
Yes.
And you noticed your children were in the house?
No, they were not in the house. I thought they were in the house. I grabbed them to get them in the house.
Okay, so you got your children in the house.
Yes, I did.
And once your children were secured in the house, did you go back outside?
I did.
And did you approach the child that was in the street?
Yeah, well, I approached the male, and then I approached the child.
Okay. Were there other people around the male?
Yes.
Were there other people around the child?
Yes.
They were talking?
They weren't talking about what happened. They were, oh, my God.
Okay, so they were more shocked and frantic?
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Jones, how many of your family members were out that day playing ball?
I think 3 or 4. Might be 4. 4.
4? Were there males?
Yes.
Okay. And about how tall?
My brother's about 5'4", maybe between 5'4" and 5'6".
And when you were, is that it?
Well, that's with one of them.
One of them?
Yeah.
So the other 3, were they in the range of 5'10" and 6 foot?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. But it was 3 other individuals besides your brother out there that day?
Yes.
And was Mr. Butts playing ball with your family members?
No.
Your Honor, a moment to confer with counsel. And Ms. Jones, do you, no further questions, Judge. I'll withdraw the question. Thank you.
Thank you. Redirect?
Yes. You approach the witness, please.
Okay.
Ms. Jones, I'm going to show you Defendant's Exhibit A for identification that Ms. Parker just showed you. Now, Ms. Parker said that you indicated his height was between 5'10" and 6 feet, didn't she?
Yeah.
What did you actually say on your statement?
Between
his height?
5'11" and 6.
5'11" and 6 feet. And then she asked further, a few lines down, you indicated that he has short hair cut and a gold tee
Yeah, I tried to
and
retract
facial
that.
hair. What did you mean by that?
I tried to, was moving so fast, I tried to take the gold teeth off and do facial hair, but at the time I was just trying to hurry up.
Okay, so were you still pretty...
No, my daughter was still wrapped around my leg crying, so I was still tending to be a mom.
So when you say with a gold tee and then facial hair, you didn't say he had gold facial hair, did
No, I did not.
You never thought he had
Yeah, I
toilet
never
paper?
thought, I never thought he had.
You didn't say that, did you?
I didn't mean to say that.
Thank you. Any recross?
Your Honor, briefly. Ms. Jones, when you wrote your statement for the police, did they give you plenty of opportunity, enough time to do that?
They came to me when I put my daughter in the house, but she came back out, and I was doing it already, and then she came and attacked my leg.
Okay, I understand that. But did law enforcement give you time restraints? Were they rushing you to complete your statement?
No, they weren't.
Okay. So you had an opportunity to write a statement, make any corrections that you thought necessary the night of the incident?
Not necessarily, no. Because at the time, I just wanted to write it and continue to deal with my daughter.
Even if your statement was incorrect, you just wanted to write it?
No, I wanted to write it accurately, but at the time, I was being a parent.
Okay. So teeth and facial hair, those are two distinct things, correct?
Yes, it is.
All right. No further questions, Judge.
And you redirect?
Did you start to write teeth? That's what the T was? You just didn't finish the word teeth?
No, I was, to be honest, I don't really remember what my mind frame was at that particular time, but I do know it was that he might have had a gold teeth, or I know he had facial hair.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. May Ms. Jones be excused?
Yes, she may.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jones. You are excused. Call your next witness, please.
Next witness is going to be Kimberly.
So please move over. Raise your right hand to be sworn. Yes. Please come up over here to the witness stand. Take a seat.
Good morning, ma'am. Would you please tell us your name and spell for us your first and last name?
Kimberly Taylor, Kimberlytaylor.
Okay. And Ms. Taylor, there's a microphone in front. Can you scoot up a little bit so we make sure that we can hear you? Do you know Jeremiah Taylor?
Yes, that's my son.
And how do you know him?
That's my son.
Okay. And Ms. Taylor, I want to direct your attention back to September the 4th of last year, 2014, and asked if you recall an event that occurred that evening around 7:30 at night.
Yes, someone came to knock on the door and said that my son got shot.
Okay. And how far away from where, and did you go out and see your son?
You know, I had to go the next block over.
Okay. So it was about a block away? And was that at the corner of 13th Place and Oleander?
Yes, sir.
And so you were staying about a block away from there.
Mm-hmm.
Someone came and told you your son had been shot, and then you ran out and followed that person to where your son was.
Yes, sir.
Did you see Jeremiah at that time on the ground?
Yes, sir.
And was his bicycle nearby?
Yes, it was on the ground.
And did he appear indeed to have been shot?
Yes, sir.
Were there other people assisting and helping him at that time?
Yes, my cousin was holding his wound, and other people were just standing around him.
Okay. And were the police and the medical people there when you arrived, or did you get there before they?
I got there before them.
Okay. Shortly thereafter, did the police and emergency medical people come?
Yes.
Could you tell where Jeremiah appeared to have been shot?
It was on his left side of his stomach.
Okay. And did you see any other individual that appeared to have been shot in the near vicinity of where Jeremiah was?
It was a young man standing by the stop sign, laying on the ground.
Where did he appear to have been shot?
He was laying on his stomach, his butt.
His butt?
Yeah.
Was there one or more people attending to him as well?
I'm not for sure.
You were mainly concerned about Jeremiah?
Yes, sir.
I understand. When the police and medical people came, did they take Jeremiah away from the scene?
They had to wait for a minute, then they took him away. Like, it took him about 10, 15 minutes.
How was he transported from the scene?
He was in the ambulance. Then they took him to the field to get on the helicopter.
Okay. Did you go down to the hospital?
Yes.
Quickly, I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
Where Jeremiah was in the hospital. Was that down at ORMC?
Yes, sir.
And did he have to undergo emergency surgery that night?
Yes.
How long approximately, if you recall, was Jeremiah in the hospital? Not just the first one, but any subsequent hospitals?
About 2 months.
Okay. And was there ever, did the bullet that went in his front part on his side, did that exit? Was there any other, or was the bullet still in him?
It's still in him.
What injuries did he sustain as a result?
Well, he had several holes in the inside, 110 stitches in the inside. He had 32 staples in the outside. And he had to wear a colostomy bag for about 2 months.
Okay.
And now his legs still be in pain. He can't stand on his legs too long.
So he's still having difficulties even from last September.
Yeah.
Was he out of school for quite a while?
Yes, sir.
Now, did you weren't present during the shooting?
No, sir.
Did you learn from speaking with Jeremiah who was the shooter?
Yes, he told me.
Okay. And did you know an individual by the name of Bobo?
I didn't know him. I just heard about him.
Okay. Now, was he friends with Jeremiah's father?
Yes.
Okay. And had he been friends with Jeremiah's father for a while?
I'm not for sure how long.
Okay. And prior to this occurring in September of last fall, did Jeremiah's father, was he sentenced to a prison sentence?
Yes.
So was he not, Jeremiah's dad was not around?
No, he wasn't.
Is he still in prison?
Yes.
And this individual that Bobo, had you seen him before and talked with him?
Yes, once before.
Okay. Now, I want to move forward. shooting, a few days after, while you were down in the hospital with Jeremiah, did you receive a phone call?
Yes.
Did the person identify who he was?
Yes, sir.
And who did he identify himself as?
Your Honor,
Bobo.
objective to hearsay.
Overruled.
As Bobo?
Yes.
And did you recognize his voice?
Objection. Foundation.
Sustained. Well,
That's what this is the next question.
next question, so hold on
You
for
recognized
objection.
his voice as
Yes.
Bobo
Yes, sir.
from your previous encounters with him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what did Bobo speak about the shooting?
You know, he just was letting me know that he didn't mean to do it and that see how Jeremiah was doing.
Okay. That he didn't mean to shoot Jeremiah?
Yes.
Now, I want to show you a composite. You've seen this, right? States double D for identification. I want to show you a composite set of photographs. Is that Jeremiah in the first one?
Yes.
And then the second photograph, does that fairly and accurately depict the scar that he has now?
Yes, sir.
Scars, actually,
Yes.
from the surgery, and then the one over on the side to the right from where the bullet went in?
Yes, sir.
And another third photograph shows the scars again.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth photograph as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Does that fairly and accurately reflect the injuries that Jeremiah still has today as a result of this gunshot wound?
Yes, sir.
I would move States Exhibit Double D and evidence.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
State's Exhibit Double D will come into evidence as State's Exhibit 8.
Exhibit and publish it, please.
Yes, you may.
Now this area right here, that's his belly button.
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You testified earlier today that you really didn't know Mr. Butts.
No, I didn't.
You weren't familiar with him.
No.
You knew him in passing because of a friendship that he had with the father of Jeremiah Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And you testified that you'd spoken to him maybe one time.
Mm-hmm.
But you were positive that the person who identified himself on the phone to you as Bobo was indeed the person you had spoken to that one time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Any direct?
No redirect.
May Ms. Taylor be excused?
She may.
Thank you very much. You may be excused.
And I think Jeremiah may be excused as well.
Okay, Jeremiah may be excused. Ready for another witness?
Yes.
The state would call Andrew Mone.
I do.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please state and spell both your first and last name for the record?
Andrew Mone, ANDREWMAMONE,
And Officer Ramon, how are you employed?
Sanford Police Department.
And on how long have you been with the Sanford Police Department?
Approximately 17 months.
And back on September 4th of 2014, were you employed as a Sanford police officer?
Yes, ma'am.
What were your responsibilities?
Patrolman.
And what shift were you working?
I was working Delta shift nights.
And what time is that, the Delta shift night?
About 6 in the evening to 6 in the morning.
And at some point during that shift, did you respond to the intersection of 13th Place and South Oleander in Sanford, Florida?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, and is that in Seminole County, Florida?
It is.
And why were you responding there?
We had a shots fire call from there.
And do you recall about what time you arrived?
Yes, I believe it was 7:38 p.m.
And when you arrived on scene, what is it that you observed?
There was a large group of people in the intersection. As I approached, I could see a young black male identified as Jeremiah Taylor on the ground, approximately 9 years of age. He had a gunshot wound to the abdomen. And then to the west of me, there was an adult black male, Kendall Clark, who also had a gunshot wound to the buttocks, and he was laying face down. Both victims had bystanders applying direct pressure to the wounds.
While you were on scene, were you able to gather any information about Kendall Clark or from Kendall Clark?
No, ma'am. I wasn't from either victims, really, other than their approximate age, I believe.
Was Kendall Clark cooperative with you on scene?
No, ma'am, he was not.
Now, as you're doing what you're doing, what else is happening? Are other law enforcement arriving? Tell us what's happening.
Yes, many other law enforcement are arriving on scene, trying to relay information to the fire department about the severity of the wounds, and trying to clear a path for the fire rescue to get in, stuff like that.
Would you, about how many law enforcement officers were on scene?
Well, there was about 26 officers that responded to the call. That was not directly at the scene at that intersection at 13th Place in Oleander, but who were coordinating with the evac for Jeremiah Taylor, also officers who took over the investigations of this event. On scene, I'd say there was at least 10 officers at the intersection at that time.
Okay. And when you say assist with the evac, tell me what you mean by that.
You had to get medevaced to ORMC.
Is that a helicopter? What is that?
Yes, ma'am.
So in order to get a helicopter, what you have to clear, tell us how that happens.
There's designated emergency landing zones throughout the city. They had to clear one of those. I'm not entirely sure exactly which one because I was there at the intersection. And the ambulance then transports them to the landing zone to get them on the helicopter.
Now, while you were on scene, were you able to locate any evidence?
Yes, ma'am, I was. One of the witnesses were able to provide us with a general area of where the shooting had taken place. And I had observed 3 9mm casings in that area. And I believe crime scene came out and got more evidence from the scene.
Yes, ma'am.
Show you what has been pre-marked as State's Exhibit L. Do you recognize State's Exhibit L?
I do, ma'am.
Okay. How do you recognize State's L?
The 4-door white sedan is where the witness described that we would find the rounds. And I remember expanding the crime scene area to envelop this area and then discovering the rounds thereafter.
And is State's L fair and accurate representation of what their area looked like after the shooting?
It is.
Your Honor, State would request to move into evidence State's L.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
State's L will come into evidence as State's 9.
State's 9, excuse me.
May do so.
Officer Mone, I do think there is a laser pointer up there near you.
Hi.
You wouldn't mind just kind of show us on State's Exhibit 9 where you located some shell cases?
Well, this right here is 1320 Oleander. believe that's apartment B in the background. And you can see the evidence ID markers at the wheel wells of the vehicle.
Okay, thank you. Officer Mone, how long would you say you were on scene?
I was on scene until a crime scene got done with their investigation in the area. It was approximately 5 hours.
And were there various other officers on scene for about the same amount of time?
There was.
Now, as part of your standard uniform, are you equipped with a body cam?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Tell us about that. What is a body cam?
We use a taser body camera. It has an external battery. I wear it on my head. That gives me the most accurate footage. Some officers wear it elsewhere, depending on their own preference. I had mine activated on today's date from a previous traffic stop, so it was recording the entire length of the event.
So you were actually out on a traffic stop when you were dispatched to this location?
I was. You have to manually record. You have to hit a record button on the camera. So it was activated the entire time as I arrived on scene.
Let me show you what's been marked as a State's Exhibit I for identification and ask if you recognize State's I.
I do.
How do you recognize State's I?
It's been reviewed and I initialed and signed it myself.
And the State's I contained a small portion of your body cam from the events of that night?
Yes, ma'am.
Certainly not the entire 5 hours or the traffic stop prior to it?
Correct.
It's just your initial response onto scene?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, the State would like to move State's I into evidence as State's next.
Any objections? I will come into evidence as State's Exhibit 10.
I request permission to publish State's 10.
You may do so.
Eyewitness News.
Hey, description, what it look like? Who saw it? What car? No one saw it? Hold on. Sanford, and one victim from black male, approximately 9 years old. What's your age, sir? Anybody tell me his age? Name? 14. Deputies to approach when they get 97. Alright, hey, I need room.
Officer Ramon, the rest of your activity at that scene was, tell us what you did at scene security.
Is getting crime scene tape up, making sure we try and ID witnesses, see what kind of statements we could get from them. Also, making sure we have vehicles out of the roadway, fire department clearly get to the victims.
Nothing further for this witness at this time, Your Honor.
Thank you. Cross?
Morning.
Morning, sir.
You were probably the first person on scene, were you not?
I was the first officer on scene.
And as is evidenced by the video we just watched, it was somewhat chaotic.
It was.
A lot of shouting, people excited, not in a good way. And you were able to ascertain general descriptions of two persons that had been shot.
Yes, sir.
And it appeared from your video that at least some sort of first aid was being administered to both of the persons.
Correct.
How much time elapsed between the time that you showed up to that initial scene and when EMT first responders made it to the scene?
I'd imagine approximately 5 minutes.
And during that 5-minute time, is that when you were going ahead and securing the area with crime tape and that sort of stuff?
Myself and several other officers on scene, yes, sir.
You also had the opportunity to sort of canvass the area to see if there was anybody that could give you any possible leads as to what was going on.
Yes, sir.
And you did make contact with some people, did you not?
I did.
How much time elapsed between the finishing up of processing the crime scene or getting it prepared for processing and you actually starting to speak to people who may have had information that may assist you in the investigation?
I'd have to approximate 10 minutes. As soon as crime scene tape's up, we're canvassing for witnesses.
So it would be approximately, you arrive on scene, it's about 10 minutes before EMTs show up. Would you say it would be safe to say then probably 15, 20 minutes from the time you arrive to the time that you actually start canvassing the neighborhood?
I put an estimate to 10 to 15 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes?
Yes, sir.
And you spoke to, and according to your report, you spoke to at least 3 people that provided statements.
That I did, yes, sir.
And one of those was a person by the name of Ashley Jones.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to know what she said, but how much time elapsed between the time that you showed up on scene and you actually had a conversation with Ms. Jones?
That 10 to 15 minutes, be very accurate.
And did you notice, did she have people around her?
She did.
She did?
Yes.
And who were they?
An unidentified black male at the time was trying to pull her away, and I was able to get her, along with myself and the other officers, to be able to retrieve a written statement from her.
And what would you say the age was of the unidentified black male who was trying to pull her away?
Probably mid-20s.
So approximately her age demographic.
Yes, sir.
It wouldn't have been a child.
No, sir.
But it was an older male.
Adult age, yes, sir.
And how, based on your report, we know that you spoke to at least 3 people. Were those 3 people clustered together, or did you have to meet with them in different places?
They're all located on the same street. I believe I spoke to them just west of the intersection on 13th Place, in front of that very same building that the photo was taken for the evidence.
And was Ms. Jones under any kind of time restraints or time pressures when she was providing her written statement to you?
No, sir.
Did she seem to be distracted while she was doing that?
I don't believe so.
Did you notice any of her children with her?
No, I don't believe I did notice any of her children.
May I have one moment to confer with counsel? No further.
Thank you. Redirect.
Counsel just asked you about speaking to, I think you said a total of 3 people,
Yes,
Ms.
ma'am.
Jones being one, and the other 2. Did the other 2 give you any information with regard to the shooter?
No, they did not.
And you also just mentioned that while you were trying to speak with Ms. Jones, there was a black male that was trying to pull her away. Was he trying to tell her not to talk to the police?
She was, or he was, excuse me.